My video did not want to work or download or do anything, so I am fed up with electronics today. Um, and so I have my setup here right at my desk. And so we're going to go live with this. I know you're recording, but I'll definitely send a video that is worth YouTube. And I want to show you your supplies first. Some of you have received your supplies, um, and this is exactly what I'll put in them. So you won't see me. If you have any questions, someone's going to need to say it because I'm going to turn down my camera, and it's going to be on the materials that I have below here. Okay. All right. Fabulous. And it's wonderful to see everyone here today. Here we go. Should this is set up correctly. Camera's heavy. All right, so that's what we're just gonna work with. All right, so here's an example
Esther,
of, yes?
very quickly, for those who may be new to Zoom,
Okay,
if you have your view, and how you can see Esther's up close is to put your view in speaker mode, so that way you're able to see in full screen. Thank you.
all right, so thank you. In your supply bag, what you have received is a 6-inch bamboo stick. And now this was found at Fry's as a skewer. Um, it is a little sharp on the point, so I did take it outside and rub it on the sidewalk to lessen the point, so you don't want to stab your head, or some sandpaper. You have received 4 colors of beads. I'm going to use 2 today, which is fine, and this is an example here. You have a beading needle, which you see here. They come in different sizes. This is size 11. It's about 1.5 inches. There's 1 inch, there's 2 inch, 3 inch. There's all kinds of beading needles. But you definitely want to use a beading needle, not a sewing needle. So it will actually go through the seed bead like so. Also, the thread that you see here is about 3.5 to 4 feet. And so this right here is nylon threading. It is called nylon Nymo size D. Here is the actual spool that it came on. You can also use fishing line as well. I would use 6-pound Tess fire line. It's invisible. It's hard for me to see it actually. So I continue to use the nylon thread. And I've actually heard people use floss as well. So there's all kinds of things that you could be using. I do like to wax my thread because it is durable. It makes it very easy to use, and also it waterproofs it as well. So you want to be as natural as possible. And in nature, one of those pieces traditionally is to use beeswax. So that's what I continue to use. If you do not want to create a hair bun stick, you're like, I have short hair and I don't need one of those. You can use a regular pen. I have an example here. Here's a beaded pen, and as you can see here, this is just a Bic, and it's circular beading. These make great gifts, and personal gifts too, I guess. The other thing that is being utilized right now and completed are graduation celebration feathers. I'm like, can you see that? There, yeah, I can. All right. And so that is stitched all the way around. Now, this has it has leather around the bottom, and we beaded around the leather. And that helps it stay secure to what you're beading. So here, I did not add a leather piece, but you still can do it. It is circular. So one thing I didn't do here is I did not secure this. I did not add those in your packets, but you are welcome to, and a lot of artists do this, to add glue to this end of the stick so it stays secure. You can use E6000, which is a crafting glue. You can find those at your craft departments. You can use Elmer's glue or maybe some tacky glue. I'm pretty simple and I like to use what I have around me. I have all these glues, but I still am familiar with the handy dandy all-purpose glue stick. All right, so let me put this back on here, move this out of the way. With tubular beading, I am using size 11 seed beads. My favorite beads are Delica, which are square shaped. Well, not really square, but they're like hexagon, and they line up real nicely. But these work as well. With the stitch, you can also use the larger beads, size 6 glass seed beads, or if you want to get heavy duty, you can use pony beads as well. So any type of beads you can use for this type of stitching. Move these out of the way. All right, are there any questions so far? All right, here we go. And hopefully you have something at your home for this and the materials that you need to move forward. I know from practice and creating these that it takes 14 beads to go all the way around. So I'm going to go ahead and begin, and just hang in there with me. I'm going to do one red, one black. I'm just going to go back and forth. Or like this one, I did 2 red, 2 black, and I ended up with 4 black beads next to each other. But I'm just going to go back and forth. Do one.
Just checking. Did you want us to follow along and start ours too?
Yeah, that would be excellent.
Okay.
So I have 14 beads on
Okay.
my thread. Yes,
Question.
I'm listening.
Question. Okay. Oh, text you. Right? No. Did you say just ask the question?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Well, some beads came on shorter strings in my packet, and
Uh-huh.
then there's a long string. So which string are you putting onto now? The short or long?
Okay, so one second. Where do I have it? What you received. All right, so what you received was a string of beads, right? There's like a short string and it has beads on it.
I have 3 short strings, yellow, black, and red, with various numbers of the beads on each one, and then 1 long string.
Okay, so what you're gonna do is you can take excuse me, you can take the short strings and throw them away.
So whatever's on these short strings, just let the beads come off.
Yep. And I'll show you what you received, and sometimes it's easier for me to just show you. When I showed you that beads sometimes come in round cylinders, different sizes, square ones, or bags, you received part of what is called a hank. You'll see these sometimes at powwows or in stores. And what beaders do is they buy hanks and they just pull one string off. And so you have one string. What I did with some of yours is I cut it in half and I just folded it and put it in your bag.
I see.
without counting them all out. I just gave you half of one of these strings. So this string is extra. So you can just take the beads off and throw that string away. You'll want to use the longer string for your actual beading.
Okay. So you purchased those with those beads on those strings already?
Yes,
Oh, well, that's interesting.
but I mean,
Do you sometimes then make beading out of it already because they're already on there?
no.
Okay.
I think it's just a way to ship them and
Ah,
get them off
okay,
there.
cool.
Some people actually bead off these strings. So here's an example. I have one that
Okay,
fell open. Some people, oops, my beading thread is wrapping around my mic. Some people will say if they're counting, they'll just take them right off this line. They'll just go like this, and they'll just pull them off
I see.
like that.
Okay,
You can do it that way if you'd like,
okay.
but for me, I like mine in little piles.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. I mean, yeah,
So yeah, and I hope you were able to see that example.
I think so.
Okay. So my beads did come off my thread, so let me bead those back on. So sorry about that.
So I guess obviously then, not obviously, but if you want to, you have to establish a pattern for numbers of beads that you're putting on, correct? And then stick with that pattern to get a completed pattern that looks the same all the way up and down your stick or your antler or whatever you're doing. Is that correct way to say it?
Yes.
Okay.
You can change patterns, however.
Yeah, okay,
I mean,
good.
you can change halfway in between. So like on this pen, they have a pattern here. It's all the same. And then like this diagonal, you'll have just one black bead. And then you continue the white. And then you have another black bead. And then continue the white. And then it just steps up from here. It goes to the next row, next row, next row, next row. And there are pattern pages that you can download. And as a matter of fact, there is an app. Yeah, you can create patterns like it. There's patterns out there, so all you have to do is color the actual squares.
Hmm.
Let me see. I know we want to get beading, but I got to tell you about this app. It's a beading app. But if you go on Google Play and just put beading patterns,
Mhm.
there's several apps out there that you can use to create a different pattern.
Okay.
Hi, this is Davina. I joined late, actually just saw the invite today and joined today. Luckily, I have material on my own, but my
Nice.
question is, how long of a thread do I put on the needle?
Well, I put 3.5 to 4 feet. But if you do run out of thread, there is a way to cut new thread and continue with the project that you've been working on without any interruption. All right, so what I have here is $16 beads. You're going to take whatever you have, antlers or beading or a feather, and you're going to check your beads. And if they touch, that's a good thing. But if they overlap, that's not a good thing.
How do you mean touch? End to end?
Mm-hmm. From bead to bead.
Bead to bead, but if they overlap, you've got too many on
Yes.
to continue that pattern.
Yes.
Okay.
And sometimes these sticks are not precise.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So this is too many beads. I'm going to take off 2. And so you'll always want to have an even number of beads. And if there's a little space, it's okay because it'll tighten up a little bit later. So just check again. There you go, much better, right? There's a little gap in there, but that's okay.
Okay.
And so you'll just tie a regular knot. My hands feel funny. I think I'm nervous because you guys, I'm going live and that's
Your
okay,
hands
though.
are doing great.
Thank you. All right, here we go, and make sure it's tight. Do 1,
Hmm.
just a regular knot.
Can you explain why it has to be even? I think I'm already not starting even.
You could stay odd. You can do odd, but you'll want to continue to add the odd number of beads throughout your circular pattern. So you either stay with even or stay with odd. Oops. And I have some random red glossy beads. Those out of the way. Okay, and so I hope you guys are this far.
No, but that's okay.
There's a little gap here. And when you are beading, you're going to want to hold the tail to whatever you're beading. I like to bead from bottom up and then from right to left. All right. And so once you have your tie, and this is going to move around a little bit, which is okay. I like to hold my piece in my left hand and use my index finger to keep that stable. And also the thumb is holding the tail, which keeps the top of it stable as well.
Hmm.
Let me make sure this is tight. There we go. So you're going to take the needle. Oh, okay. So real quick, I do not tie the end of the thread. I keep that loose. So if I have an error or I see that I need to go back and remove several beads, I just slide off the needle and then I can put it back on. So there we go. I'm going to take that needle and put it through the first bead on the left. If you're left-handed, you will probably put it to the first bead on the right. Of course, I would get a knot.
So I think I missed, you pulled the beads you put on all the way down to the opposite end of the needle. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and then you tied that off.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Sorry. 2, 3, 4.
There you go. I did have a knot in my string. So I'm gonna I just untangled it. And I'm gonna put that through the eye of the needle. All right, there we go. Let's try again. I'm gonna take the thread and put it through one bead to the left. Push that through and pull that all the way through. What is going on? That does not look safe.
Okay.
All right. So we have beads in a circular pattern. You tied it off. One bead to the left, you thread it through, and there's our thread. Now we can begin our beading, and you're going to use one bead at a time. So I'm going to start with a black one, and you're going to skip over the first bead next to it and bead through the second bead. So you add one to a needle, skip, and go through the second one. Pull that through. And it will look like that.
When you say the second one, you're counting from, you're starting from a certain color and then counting?
Well, I'm going by numbers. So
Okay.
I have my knot right here,
Uh-huh.
and I went through the bead to the left of it.
Okay.
I skip bead number 1 and go through number 2,
Okay.
or skip the red and go through the black.
Okay.
So I have red, black, red, black. So I'm going to skip the next red and go through the black again.
Okay.
And I'm going to continue with the black beads all the way around for this. And we're going to go all the way around until we get to this bead again, with where that tie knot is. Okay. All right, here we go. One black, skip a red, go through the black one on the string, pull the thread all the way through, and then you're just going to tug it a little bit. One black, skip a red, go from the black,
Mm.
pull it through. And you see sometimes the bead does go towards the bottom, so you just gotta, I use my needle and lift it over. And your first row always looks kind of strange. And beads are temperamental, so sometimes you gotta talk to them and be like, okay, it's okay. All right, how are we doing, everybody? Skip the red, go through the black. You know, it all depends on how you're feeling that day when you choose colors. Or colors are also can be chosen by somebody's favorite. So I know Mother's Day is coming up. If your mother has a favorite color, you might want to use those instead. A lot of times, professionals use nature to provide their color pattern. Okay, so there's our knot right there. And this is my last black bead. Oops. That is being added for this row. Little tug, make sure it's nice and tight. So here, this is what it looks like all the way around. All right. So once you have that last bead, what you're going to do is you need to go up into that second row. So you're going to take your needle and you're going to go into the black bead above the red. Okay. Did I lose anybody? So
Yeah, but that's okay. Don't worry.
let's try again. So you have your circular, you put all the beads on there, and then you got back to the beginning where your knot is. You're going to go through that first bead that you went through, and then you're going to step up. You're going to put your bead through that second bead right there, that step up bead, that first row, no, that second row, excuse me. Now, somebody, you want to vote, just take off your mic. Do you want to continue with the black? Because then we'll have circles black and red, or do we want to spin it a little or go checkered?
I have a question.
Yes.
So there's a space right at that black where you started.
Yes.
Okay, right on top of that black, there's a space.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Absolutely. And
All
we're
right.
gonna, so your third row is going to fill in these gaps.
Okay, great. Thank you. I see that pattern now. How it's constructed. Thank you.
I think I made an error right here. That's okay. All right, I'm going to do a circular pattern. So I am going to add another black bead. You don't need to skip any right now. You're just going to use the ones that are sticking up nice and high. Yeah, what's going on here? I think it's just further apart. All right, let's go on. I have a black bead going through that one that's raised up. And please, if you can't see what I'm doing, let me know if I need to move my hands up or down. I'm just gonna go this way. I'm gonna end up with a weird gap right there. And you'll want to watch your thread because sometimes it will try to loop around other things, the stick or other threads. Okay. How are we doing, everybody?
Well, I'm way behind, but that's okay. Don't worry. I mean, I'm learning.
Absolutely, that's a good thing.
When you said that you would start to make it spiral or checkerboard, how?
That will depend on what beads you put on your string. So I want mine.
Alternating?
What was that? I'm sorry.
I have an alternating, like
Okay.
just two different colors, and then do I just keep continuing like that, or?
Yeah, absolutely. Just continue with what you're doing. And today what we're learning is technique on how to make this happen. So
So, do you mind backing up for a minute?
Okay.
I'm just still trying to tie my first 14 beads on my stick. And
Okay.
it's awkward and I don't quite understand actually how to get it to do that for sure. I've got two hands trying to tie on my stick and my stick moves all over the place.
Yes.
So, any little hints or clues, or just try and get it going and try and get that first half knot going? And
Yeah, you can use your
okay, I got
hands. So I
yeah,
think
okay,
just,
yeah.
here I have another one.
If there's a little bit of a gap when you're tying this first tie, do you want to put one more bead on?
As long as it stays an even count or
Okay.
odd. So just
Oh, okay,
sure it's consistent. I do even.
okay. Gotcha.
Now I'm going to start with the red.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, I'm going to go ahead.
And you're going to want, so it does take a lot of patience because you're doing one bead at a time and you're entering your needle into one bead at a time. There are other methods that are a lot faster. They're called wraps, where you put like 30 beads at once. And you'll want to be careful when you purchase items because I think that's not as good as a technique. And you'll just want to watch out for those if that's what you really want. No. And things do mess up sometimes, and that is okay. You just be patient, and you can take it apart. I've actually done beading for it was about 2 inches long, and then it started getting sideways, and so I was done with that one. And sometimes your needles come off, your threads get knotted, and that's a test of patience. Sometimes you'll see a bead in the wrong spot. And what would I say about that? I would say that is okay because not everything is perfect. We are not perfect. And that's just a reminder for us to be humble and understand that try our best all the time.
Esther,
Yes.
did you already explain the significance of the colors that you chose to use tonight? If there's any, just on how we had talked about trying to provide that
Mhm.
cultural piece on the different colors and designs.
As I was saying, it all depends on what you're thinking about. It can go with who is your favorite, if you're doing it for a person, their favorite colors. If you're thinking of nature at the time, you may choose natural colors like the sunset with the purple hues and pink and blues. Even with when you're looking at water. I did do contrast for some of you. I did the black and the yellow, significance of light and dark, good and evil. Uh, I I am thinking of my actual family, my cousin, and so um, I am thinking of the MMIW movement with the red and black for this evening for myself. And so your colors will always have some type of meaning. And I think it absolutely puts a personal touch into your beading. And you're putting yourself into your piece of work. And some of you, I did give you 4 colors, so you can choose whatever colors that inspire you for this evening. See, I almost did a black, supposed to do red. Usually if I have a video, this part would be cut off. And then voila, I would show you at least an inch or an inch and a half of beading. But since we're doing this live, I will try to go as fast as I can on this part. Is anyone having difficulty with this section?
Well, I am, but
And
I'm just really struggled to get my first tie on. I got my first tie on and I put
okay,
one more bead on. And so I kind of don't know, I started at the knot, right? And skipped
Mhm.
one.
okay, so you go to the knot and then you put your needle in to the left of the knot with no bead.
Oh, all right. Well, let me get that out of there then. Just a second. With no bead.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I missed that. Well,
That's okay.
yeah. I've got to rethread my needle.
And there's also, well, like I was saying before, different needles. As we get older, our eyes start to strain more. And
Uh-huh.
mine are feeling it. So I do have bifocals on, just like reading glasses or knitting.
Okay, so go to the knot and then go to the left of the knot, one bead,
Mm-hmm.
and go underneath with no beads on
Correct.
and pull it through
Yes.
from the, oh, shoot.
So as you see here, I do have an error. The beads got tangled. So what I would
Okay.
normally do in this case is I would take off my needle and unthread this row until I got back over here. And then I would start again.
Mm. All right, so I did that. Now I want to put a bead on, right?
Yes, now put one bead on, skip the bead to the left or underneath it and skip that first bead and go to the second bead.
Okay. And underneath it then?
The bead is going to be on top.
Okay. Now, when I'm putting my needle through, I've got my thread that's running out just to the right of it. Do I go on top of that or underneath it, or is it going to matter? Does that make sense?
Say that again.
Well, I'm doing what you said, and as I pull this through, do I go before I pull it tight? How do I say this? Does it matter how it tightens up with the thread? Just pull it. I'm just going to pull it.
Okay,
Well,
just,
yeah, it's okay.
oh, that's messy.
Once that's accomplished, doing one bead at a time,
Mhm.
and we're going to skip or no skip
Skip one bead and go to the second bead.
from that point.
And you're going to do that continually until you get back to the tie.
Oh, okay. And then I'm not going to worry too much about color right now, but
Yeah.
how do I begin to understand the color of bead that I want to put on? You get what I'm asking?
Well, when you do, just know that you're beading in layers.
Uh-huh.
And so when you're beading, it's zigzag type of deal. It's actually
Okay.
zigzagging back and
Uh-huh.
forth.
Okay.
And so if you want a circular pattern, like I was trying to make, you're going to do 2 rows of the same color.
Okay. I think I get it. Yeah.
If you want a circular motion, then you're going to, if you do a
Yeah.
circular motion, you're going to do like 1 bead here. So I have black here.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of red here, I would put a black.
Okay.
And so if you're, it's kind of like, I don't know how to explain that. So if you have black here, yeah, this one would be black. And then when you come around again to that area, you would put a black diagonally. And so you would, it would start a diagonally.
Start
It
that
would
pattern.
be diagonal. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like this one.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you do 2 rows with the same color, you get circular pattern. Let's see, I
Okay.
have another one here.
Okay. Back to the, I've got the first bead on. Count over 2 beads, did you say? And go underneath then and pull it through?
No, just one.
Just one. Okay.
Well, skip 1 bead and go through your next bead.
Okay.
Skip 1, thread it through. Skip 1, thread it through.
Skip 1, thread it through. Skip 1, thread it
Mhm.
So I have a little problem.
Like same.
There's not much space.
What's that?
There's too much space. Because I started like with a kind of a narrow end that kind of moves out. Do I just fill it in with 2 beads?
Yeah, you can. Usually you'll take it off by then, or leave it, take off the beads and start over. But if you can make 2 beads fit within that gap, that will be okay too. It'll just make it difficult when you come back around it. That's exactly what I've done here today. So I have 2 beads right here. There's a mean gap in there. So I did unthread. If you were watching me, I did unthread some beads because I had 1 too many. And sometimes the end of your string gets frayed, so all you do is just snip that. And start again.
through. Oh.
Okay. Let me try to get a couple rows in here.
Hmm.
Yeah, kind of messed up, but that's okay. Yeah, so when you, after you put your thread through the bead, you'll want to tighten it up by pulling it in the direction that you're beading. And part of this is just practicing your
Mhm.
technique, and then the positioning of your hands.
Mm-hmm.
and how you want to enter that needle into the next bead. And be careful with your beads as well. Like I said, when you purchase them at a large store, the beads are not as quality. Like this one is misshapen. Like one side is skinny and then the other side is bulky. Just throw that bead away. Say bye-bye. Thank you for coming, but not today. I did it again. I added an extra bead somewhere. Right in here.
Oh,
Pick up a bead.
I
we
lost
go.
my stick.
Sometimes that happens. Just put it back in.
Yep.
And I've actually poked like my beading mat or whatever you're using. You can use felt or a low plush towel.
Mm-hmm.
I've poked it into the mat and pulled it up, and I had popcorn beads. That's the worst.
Yeah, I kind of think I know what you
212.
mean already.
Popcorn bead party.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It just sort of happened. My stick dropped and hit my little pile of black.
Yeah, that
All right.
happens.
All right.
Some people, when they're beading a lot, they'll use like a Dixie cup like this, and they'll just have all their beads in there, a nice big tub of them, and they'll just go, and they'll just put them on really quick. I don't know how they do that.
Well, the black carpet in my office here is helpful to find the yellow beads that fell, but
Oh, nice.
not the black ones though.
Nope, your feet will find those.
Oh boy. Hmm.
Yeah, I've added some beads in here, so it's starting to fray outward. No. Until I'm gonna do a couple rows of the black, and then I'm gonna show you how to make the top the base.
Hmm.
Esther, I was wondering, where would you find good quality beads? I think, um, I think I bought some online from like a online beading trader, but I noticed that some of my beads, kind of like what you said, they're lopsided. Some of them are like clunky and some of them are really skinny. So it just depends. And now I feel like my beads aren't laying like flat like they should.
Yes, and that does happen. Once you find, it's kind of like testing the product.
Mhm.
Once you find a good beading vendor, you'll want to continue with that same vendor if their beads are quality.
Mhm.
You can buy them from a vendor and have them, an online vendor. It says they're professional and have a great website, but you really don't know until you receive those beads.
Mm.
And like I was saying before, most recently, my favorite are the Delica ones because they're hexagon shape, and they lay really nice and flush against each other compared to the oval ones. And these are oval seed beads.
Mm.
And these are the most frequent ones in stores.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go to bead vendor. Or you can go, yeah, you can order them online or actually go to a bead vendor if you can. Yeah, ones at like the big conglomerate stores are not as quality. And that way, and with those, you end up losing a lot of your beads because you're sorting through them and throwing them away. Native American supply stores are pretty good. All right, let me do- Okay. I would go more, but as you see here, it went from pattern and then I just kept adding black, 2 rows of black, and I have it there. This is 2 rows of red. And almost 2 rows of black. So let me finish the black here and then I'll show you how to make the top. Jerry, how much time do we have? Or are we finished already? Is it 1 hour?
Esther, this is Kim. We go until about 6:30. It's 6:05 right now, so we got some time.
Okay, perfect, thank you. And this bead is being weird. All right, so when beads are being weird and sometimes the thread gets bundled up like that, it's twisting my bead. It's twisted like that. I'm just gonna take it off and then rethread my needle and do it again. I'm like, come on. My thread doesn't want to go in the needle. I hear somebody's stick.
Yeah.
There we go. Yay. All right, let me do a couple more black. So as you can see, it does take time to create this, but it is totally worth it when you are finished. And so when I give gifts, I do like to give handmade gifts. And sometimes people frown on that, but like, do it anyways. It's your personal time, effort, feelings, your thoughts, and you want to think good thoughts while you do this. Your energy goes into what you're working on. All right, so I'm going to move this up to the top here, and it is a little loose because I added beads like in the middle, which was really strange. I want to take it to the top, and what I'm going to do is when you're ready to make that end piece, so here, started that here with checkered, and then I did black, I did yellow, and then I did black. I'm going to show you how to make the top, that top piece, and then add the fringe.
Still here?
Yes.
I said, you turn off the water. I don't know what you guys did, but you turn off the water.
Okay.
Okay. Back right now, hopefully.
All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to take, once you've gotten to the point, so this would be like maybe an inch to an inch and a half. Once you get to this, to the end, you're going to take your needle and thread and you're going to go through each bead on the top to get all the way around, or at least, yeah, till you get all the way around. Okay. So you thread it, pull it through, tug on it a little bit, keep it tight. And the good thing about working on circular is that when you're holding it, you can twist it in your hand. That's with all pieces. You can maneuver real easily. So I'm almost all the way around the top. Did you see that? What's going on? My thread did something strange. Oh no! All right, and that's okay. Just go through. Hmm. Oh, okay, so what happened is here I went not to the bead next to it like I was supposed to. I actually went down under one. So I'm just pulling my thread out. Did you see that? I was supposed to go to this bead, instead I went down here. And now, if you're looking at my beaded piece, you can see the white thread. There are some stores that sell thread different colors. Like they'll sell black thread, so you don't see the white. And there are some who actually take Sharpies and will Sharpie the thread, the one of the pieces that you can see. Now use what you have around you to work on your piece. Okay, here we go. Down here. Oops, did you see that? I pulled it right off. Here we go. I'm going to the top bead here, and that's where I'm going to stop. And I just pull it tight on the top. Now, I'm looking at the top base here. We want to get that covered. So I know that from this point to this point is 3 beads, and you're going to bead across the top. Okay, you're going to bead across the top, and you're going to enter your thread on the opposite end. So I'm going to use 3, and I'm going to bead across the top.
Go through on the inside of the circle.
Yes. So you see that? How it closes up that gap when you pull it tight. In the middle, you take 4 beads. So you're going to move your thread over to the middle. And I'm going to put on 4 now. And what am I going to do? I'm going to bead across the top again to the other side. I'm like, this is not coming out like I wanted to. I'm unbeading. And I think it's that gap that I have. I added extra bead halfway in between. So the best thing to do is to undo it and start where the mistake was and start it over. But that's all part of learning, right? We learn from our mistakes and next time it's better. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bead across. There we go. So as you can see there, there's 3 beads across, there's 4 beads, and we'll do one more of 3. And can you see that?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. There we go. And so you have a cap to your beading. And what you want to do is you want to take your needle and go around to keep it tight. Just go through the top again, like around it. Ow. No, don't add any beads. Not yet. Maybe. There we go. And that will keep it secure. All right. So we come to the portion where we add our fringe. This is only 3. I do like mine a little more fuller than this and longer. This one's a little bit shorter. This one has 4, 5. This one has 5, which is a nice amount. It's just a little short. So with, like I said, with experimenting, you'll get to find out what you like and what's pleasing to your eye and also the feeling as well. So what I'm going to do is, let me show you real quick. So what I did here is I did a little pattern. I did 10 here, at the very top. I did 2 reds, 1 black, 2 reds, 5 blacks, and then 2 reds, 1 black, and 2 reds. And then this black one is the center or the bottom of that loop. and then you'll want to reverse the pattern going back up. So 10, 2, 1, 2, 5, 2. And you know, it's whatever you would like to do for your pattern, what you want to see. So if you're going to be like doing a rainbow, you could do like 15 black, and then you do your rainbow by color. You could do yellow, go from light to dark, and then add a little bit of contrast color on the bottom, like black, and then do your rainbow and then black on top. All right, let me show you how to do this. So I'm just gonna, let's do it a little bit backwards here. We're gonna do, we'll do red first. And I have some shiny reds. 1, 2. So I'm using 10 reds. Let's use 15 reds. I'm gonna do 2 blacks, 1 red, 2 black. Pull that down. Let's do 5 reds. And I'm gonna do 5 black. Okay, and so this is the pattern that I'll have on my fringe. I'll have black, I'll have red, this little sequence here, red, and then I'll have this 5 blacks and this 1 right in the middle, bead number 3. That will be my bottom of the fringe. And then now I need to repeat this pattern going back up. One, 2, 3, 4, 5 reds, 2 blacks, 1, 2, 1 red, 2 blacks, and then pull it down so you see it so you can see it. There, see that? And then now we're going to add 15 reds. Excellent. So when you are working on putting this on, see, I'm over here on this side by my thumb. I'm going to bead across the top. Now you don't want to pull it too tight, because if you pull it tight, it's really stiff. Yeah, it's standing straight, standing up like that, and I'm pulling it tight. You'll want it to be a little loose, so it will dangle. All right, and then once you have one over here, you're going to move over to your left by 2 beads. Once. Twice. And then you're going to do the same sequence of beading you have here. And then you're going to bead. Okay, so you put your beads on, right? And then you're going to want to use this bead over here. So all the way across, straight across. You're going to pull it through there. And you just keep going around in circular motion until the entire bottom is covered. So here, let me open this up. So here you see I have the 3, the 4, and the 3, and then let's see this one here. Okay, now it's clear. So on that loop, started over here, and I looped it all the way across. Moved over, I looped it across, and then you just keep kind of going around back and forth until you have what you like. Are there any portions that you want me to go over? This was not my best beading. I don't know what happened here this evening. And you always want someone who's teaching to be on point.
You're doing an excellent job, Esther.
I was gonna say, I think you made me feel better knowing that
Oh
I'm
yeah,
not messing up, Mom.
no, no way. I'm like, this one will probably disappear. We won't see that one again. But just remember, it is a, you have your good days and your bad days, just like in life. Same with beading. And always try to be
Well, you were just
in
moving
a good
fast and
spot.
stuff though too. You're fine. It's great. It's great.
Alrighty. And let me just oops. And as you see, I can it you'll want to experiment with your needles. I like to do a little bit longer because I like to have more beads on my needle, and then I just pull them down. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then move them down. And then the longer your needle is, the more flimsy it is as well. So when you're actually working, you can maneuver your needle a little bit. The shorter ones are more stiff. So whatever you're comfortable with, it just takes practice.
Yep.
And then I was having issue with my thread this evening because I left my wax at home and I didn't get to wax this one. So as you saw, it started to fray a little bit
Yeah.
near the end. That usually doesn't happen if it's waxed, and it rolls up on each other when it's not waxed. So yeah, I was having a little bit of difficulty with that. So my suggestion is to wax your thread, be patient, and I work with my teenage girls in beading, and they enjoy beading. And what I find from them is like, I think they have less to worry about, or maybe not so much in their minds at the time, because I find their patterns are so intricate. And once they get in a routine, they're quick. And I'm like, what happened? I'm like, what's wrong with me? And young kids are just have so much life and expression that they bring it to whatever they're working on in art, in beading, and in life. So if you
Yeah.
have kids, definitely work with them. So let me show you one more time, real quick. Here is a number of beads. I'm going to put it on there like that. You're going to make sure that they touch each other, which they do. You tie a knot right there, and then you take the needle and put it through the first bead through here. You take one bead, put it on your needle, skip one, enter number 2. Put on one bead, skip one, enter number 2. Put on a bead. So yeah, it's intricate work. It takes a lot. But once you have that pattern in your mind and you get in your zone, you just start beading and it's so relaxing, and your finished work, you got to be really proud of it. So I am proud of this one right here. This is one of my favorite high schools my two oldest graduated from. And so,
Cool.
yeah.
Very cool.
I hope and I wish you luck.
Oh,
Let's see. Excellent for startup of beading. Would be great if in person to follow thoroughly. Thank you. Enjoyed this. Can teach beaded cape sometime. Ooh, that would be excellent. Is that you saying you can teach beaded cape sometime, Miss Carol?
No, you teach a beaded cape.
Yeah, that would be excellent. That definitely is a lot more patterns and spacing in between the beads.
Right.
Yeah, I've tried several times. Oh, look at Katie.
So you can see where I added them in. They're sticking up.
Yeah.
It's coming out.
nice.
It's
Yeah, where you added them, they stick out.
yeah. But I'm getting kind of short on thread. So can you what do I do?
Oh, okay. So let me show you right here. I'm gonna go down. Is this good? Okay. So let me get a nice one. This one's so ugly. So say I get to my ending here and I'm out of thread. You'll want to keep the tail of your thread, and then you're gonna weave it back into. So if you're at the end of your thread, you take that and you weave it back into the base, the portion here. So you're gonna weave it back in like that, back and forth. You can go in one direction diagonal, but then you have to turn it a little bit and go the opposite direction. And then you snip it. So you're not going to tie it off here because you don't want to see that knot sitting out here, right? But if you snip it, if you weave it in, make it real tight, you go right and then you go left, and you can go right again however many times you feel that that needle, that thread is secure and those beads are secure, then you snip the end. And so let's say here I have some thread right here on this needle. And so what you do is you get a new thread and you do the same thing. Say you just start in the middle here. So here's the end, right? You just hold that end, that tail down, and you're gonna go I think it's getting late. All right, let's try that again. So you have your extra thread in your needle, and you're gonna enter somewhere in the middle. There we go, we have our tail. Then you're going to weave through the body towards wherever you want to start again. Sorry. All right. I'm almost there. And then I'm going to go backwards. Oh, my needle came off. Yeah, my string is kind of short on this side. Hold on. There we go. Okay. And that does happen all the time. Your needle slides off or the string goes through. There we go. So what you do is you're just weaving that string towards the end of where you want to start beading. All right. So see right there. So you have your tail end, and you've weaved it this way and zagged it back forward to where you want to start beading again. So from here, at this point, you just add another bead and start again with the same pattern. So what actually is a red one, this one's glossy, so I have a glossy bead right here. So see, I just added that bead right there. And you just continue to go all the way around again. And so then I'm trying to pull this. I mean, if you pull hard enough, you can pull it out. And what you'll do when you're finished with your piece, you'll go in and snip this end right here and watch. You can watch it disappear. There you go. And you don't even see the end.
Nice.
Okay. And so you can add thread to your working piece. And that's with all beading. So if with any beading piece, you go back like 3 rows or 4 rows and you start your needle through and you weave it through back and forth, and that makes it secure.
Cool.
You can always use glue if you'd like. Just put a little piece of Elmer's glue and but I think it dulls the beads a little bit, so I like to do more weaving back and forth, and so it stays tight. I do lots of beading. I teach beading classes. I do earrings, pens and feathers and hair bun ties, and I've done moccasins, but those are more difficult because it's a different type of stitch.
Graduation hats.
Graduation hats, yes. And so I just got a request today for those too. Oh man, my friend does baseball caps, and I don't know, maybe, of course, the technique is going to be the same. It's going to be, the difficult part is, do you go into the hard top, or do you just use the material on the outside? So that stitch is kind of easy. That one just goes through the edge. You put your pattern on, and it just goes round and round all the way around. You just got to keep it close together so there's no gaps. And then there comes that pattern piece. Beading is very mathematical. Our minds are set for patterns. We've been using beading for quite some time. We've seen beads from the 1800s, and they'll do some digging and they'll discover these wonderful jacket from 1700s. So beads have been quite part of our regalia and wear from the very beginning. And I do enjoy beads because they are universal. They do, not universal, world. You can go from one continent and the Aboriginals have beads, and you'll go to Africa and they'll have beads, and Spain and Europe. So beads have been around a very long time to adorn, to make look nice, and shells are also a very big part. of regalia and necklaces. And one of my favorite things is they're used for trading. So you'll find something that is like shells from the ocean in the middle of the desert where that shell would not even is not natural to its habitat or in that area. And so you'll know there's trading paths from the north all the way down into Mexico and back and forth in the ocean. And so they'll trade for salt, different things, and I really enjoy that. And elk furs, and elk and leather and furs and beads. So and those trade paths were very important during our time to um, also for communication. What's going on? What are you doing over here? What is your tribe doing? Um, Here we have an overabundance of salt. So why don't you come and we'll trade together? And that's how that worked. I really enjoy that piece.
Cool. Very cool.
Oh, you're welcome, Margaret. Thank you. And I wish my piece looked a lot better. I was under pressure. But I will have a comprehensive and clear, clean video for you on YouTube. Thank you, AIEA, for posting that. I will talk you through it several times, just how we did today. And it's always more risky live, but that's how things go.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And if you haven't received your supplies, they should be there hopefully tomorrow.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments for Esther?
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. I'm not done.
And Katie, good job. That looked really nice. Even with the little bulky piece, that's okay. And it looked actually really good.
Thank you. Thank you for teaching me. It is really
Oh,
is like a part of you that you're sharing with us. And so it's good to learn from someone who is talented, and that's really good. So I really like this. This was an activity. Thanks.
yeah, thank you. Any other questions? So Dave, you've been really talkative this session. What are some of your favorite colors, or what would inspire you? What colors would you choose?
You asking me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Well, red is a favorite, no doubt, but I love purple and red together. And that would be really cool. Yeah, I got to get started solidly. And as I worked, I kind of came undone. And so I'm going to practice getting started with a tighter circle. And then I think I've got the patterning from what you said. But yeah, and I don't know. I've done a million projects and lots of different projects, and I pay attention to details. So this challenge is going to meet this challenge here one of these days. It'll take a little while though.
Yeah, very nice.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
Love that turquoise color too. If I could work that into the purple and red, I think it would be good.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyone else want to share their favorite colors, or what would inspire them to choose the colors one way or another? Okay.
So
Fine.
Esther,
Yes.
I'll share something out. Maybe it'll get some conversation going. But thank you all again for being on here with us. And Esther, thank you so much for taking time to show us how to do that. I was shown how to do that a very long time ago. And I have a pin that I started back in, my gosh, probably 2007. And this is what I did tonight. And so that's about as far as I got. On my first one, back then, but this was a good reminder on how to do this type of work. And I just wanted to share out that where I come from, and I'm originally from Oklahoma. And so my grandfather actually does that type of work. He did. He's passed on now, but what he used was the check beads, and they were cut beads, and he used size 18s. So I can barely see to thread my needle. So he had very good vision clear up until his older age. But I wanted to show you one of his works that he did. He actually made a tie for my son when he was little. When we have our ceremonies back at home, this is what my son wore when he was a little child. So I don't know if you can see that.
Yes,
This
very nice.
all the way down, and he just adds the ends on so it doesn't fray. And he also beaded the middle part. So this part slides up and down
Wow.
like that. But these are
Wow.
beads, cut beads that he used. And he had told me to come over and, he would show me how to do that. But I never had the chance to because I hardly get to go home as often as I'd like. But I just wanted to share that with the colors that he has. He has some, Dave had mentioned the purple. He has some of the purple in here mixed in with the green and the blues. These are some of our Kiowa colors. I come from the Kiowa tribe. But a lot of the colors, if you'll notice on the very bottom, he has the red, kind of what we call the medicine colors in here as well. But one thing that my grandfather told me, he was one of the master bead workers, is that some of the colors that he saw, he would see inside the fire during ceremonies. And so
Oh, wow.
when that came about, I'm sorry, I got something in my eye. I can't get it out. It's like really watering up. But what he would do is he would utilize those colors in a lot of his work. And so these ties, these specific ties that my son has, is a type of work that he shared with a lot of people back at home. So if you see these type of ties, this is probably one of my grandfather's work. But I just wanted to share that with the audience here. So
Cool.
again, thank you, Esther, for doing this tonight.
That's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you for
Mhm.
sharing. And you are correct. Some families have colors. Some tribes have specific colors they use. My favorite is the colors of the sunrise or fire. Exactly. Those are my favorite. I do use a lot of the red, yellow, and orange, white, and then black to accent. So yeah, those are some of my favorite. So thank you for sharing. All right, if there's nothing else.
I was trying to send something in the chat, but I don't have to see where it says to send.
Okay. Give me 1 second. I can give you access to that.
Oh, gotta have access. Okay.
Yeah, for some reason it's not letting everyone have full access. So
And I see on there someone had bead soup. Yeah.
yeah, that was me. I dumped beads, but they're all like there's different types of blues, so I didn't mind picking up any of them. They're like iridescent and like see-through, so I kind of make sure that I stick with the white thread, so it makes it pop more.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Okay, Dave, I think you have access to share.
And where does it show? Does it have an icon that says send?
Let's see here. So if you go to the chat,
And it's pulled up, yeah,
and then file.
the file. Okay.
Then is there something that you wanted to share to the?
Well, I just wanted to say, awesome, thank you so much, a wonderful experience. So but I'm trying to learn more about these meetings and Zooms and how to use them, and hadn't really sent anything before. But no, it doesn't have anything that says in the file. It says Dropbox, Microsoft
Oh,
OneDrive,
my computer.
Google Drive. Yeah, it says your computer.
Mhm.
So click on that.
Yeah.
Okay. And then now it's just got a window of, looks like OneDrive or something.
Oh, okay. Is there a place where you can scroll down to see if you can find the file?
And what file am I looking for?
Or was there a file that you wanted to share to show to us, or did you want to share?
No,
your-
I just wanted to send a comment.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to send a chat comment.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay. It
Yeah.
has to everyone, but it just doesn't have any. And right at the top, it says send
Okay.
chat to, but it doesn't do anything.
Oh, yeah. So when you go to chat, there should be a type message here. And then once you click right there, then there's the blinking icon for you to
Okay,
type.
well, the
Yeah.
blinking icon isn't coming up.
Really?
Yeah.
Just real quick before we head out, I did
Mhm.
find the app. So if you're out and about and you're just waiting, it's called Bead Patterns. Looks like it's, oops,
Cool. All right. Oh, cool.
and you'll go in there and save it. So here's the app. It says new, and I'll
Okay.
say name your pattern. I just put these add, and then it gives you a selection here of, let's see, color and
Oh, wow.
also width and length.
Nice.
And here's a selection. Do you want it to be straight or diagonal?
Oh, wow. Oh, that's nice.
See, or manual. Let's see, diagonal. And so this is the pattern that we did today. So it's blank, but if you
Uh-huh.
know that like the stick is 16 around, you'll do 16 width and height, 20 height, and then you can just go in and select your colors,
Oh,
and then
wow.
you just kind of like color by the bead. Instead
Yeah.
of color by the number, color by the bead.
Nice. Nice.
So you can make the pattern and just save it. So that is a really helpful app that a beader
Very, yeah,
has
very
created.
helpful. May help you visualize it in a different way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool.
Okie dokie.
Okay, I'm gonna head out. Thank you so much, you
Thank
guys.
you everyone for joining us today. Maybe we'll definitely do another class, right, Jerry?
Mhm. Yes, we're still planning to do another class.
Good.
Great. So for those of you that haven't received your packages yet, I will do a follow-up through email and phone number, and we'll see if you would still like to have your package sent to you. If not, me and Esther can work together to start delivering packages, or have a meeting location where you can be able to pick up your packages if it's more convenient. So I'll again follow up with you guys, but thank you for attending, and we're really glad to host this with you guys. If you have any further questions or comments or anything, please let us know. And thanks again, and have a good night.
I think
Did you
the
say
only
what
I think the only person I don't have on here that I didn't send out a package to was Carol James.
Oh, okay. All right, so I'll make sure definitely to keep up with Carol James.
And really quickly, Jerry, I added a link on there. That's a virtual beading loom that we actually use with some of our students.
Ooh,
So you should be able to just click on it, and you'll be able to go directly to create your pattern online as well.
That's
nice.
cool.
I hope it works.
I'll take a picture of that.
It's really nice. Yeah, I got a beading loom from Walmart and it did not work well. We had to tape 2 like combs to each end because it kept the lines didn't stay straight or didn't stay firm. So it was good though.
All right, Bernadine, your supplies should be there tomorrow then.
Kim, thank you for this idea. This was really neat. I saw the sewing one and, I guess it just kind of fits your interests. I am not a sewer, so I was definitely not going to try and, well, I was a beater a long time ago, but still, at least I had an idea of how to do this. Instead of sewing, I would have been completely lost. So thanks for this activity.
We are hoping to get more cultural tutorials like this. Esther's very talented, so we're going to utilize all of her talents and skills as much as we can, as well as Jerry, who did the ribbon skirt making 2 weeks ago. But if you know of anybody who's wouldn't mind sharing that talent with our AIEA, please let us know. And we'd like to get the same type of tutorials on for different type of arts and crafts, because there's so many out there. So thank you.
If there's nothing else, I guess we can end this meeting. And that should be it. So thank you everyone for coming, and hopefully we'll hear from you later. We'll continue to do our AIEA events, so please stay in touch and updated. We do have a Facebook page and a YouTube page, which these videos will be uploaded to for those of you who haven't finished your project just yet and will need more guidance. We will have those videos up on YouTube within the next few days. So, all right, thank you everyone. Yeah, Esther. All right. Bye, everyone.